All right, this might be too basic of a question, but could you explain, like I'm a 5-year-old, what are the movement differences between a slider, cutter, sinker, curve? All right, we'll do that real quick, and then we'll go look at the Yankees. I aim to please. All right, here's a movement chart. Right, we've done this a few times. This is important though. All right, everything above the flat line that's going from left to right has positive movement. Like you're creating positive movement that's resisting gravity. Everything below the line, you're creating negative movement. You're creating negative movement that is aiding the process of gravity dropping the ball down. So the pitches above the line are the pitches you would expect to be the ones that resist gravity the best. The red dots at the top are the four-seam fastballs. Those have true backspin. The two little orange dots to the right, those are sinkers. They still are going up, believe it or not, just not at the same rate as a four-seam because they don't have the same seam characteristics of how they're spinning, and they also generally don't spin with perfect backspin. The changeups are the greens. Those pitches tend to spin more side spin. That creates some element of resisting gravity, but not enough to really pull the ball up a lot, so the ball tends to peter out sooner. If the ball is going the other direction with that same spin, that creates a slider movement, which creates it going left. If there's a combination of those two movements, or gyro spin, like this, that's where you get balls that are right in the middle of this bullseye. So anything that's kind of like a tighter slider, anything close to the middle of the bullseye, has a lot of this type of spin on it, which means basically only gravity and a little bit of the spin is affecting the movement of the pitch. So that's the slider is those yellow dots, and the cutters are their brown dots. The only difference between the cutter and the slider there really is that the cutter has a little bit more lift on the way to the plate and a little bit less drop, right? Lift opposite of drop. So when you're looking at pitches like sliders, cutters, and curveballs, because the curveballs are the blue dots at the very bottom with a heavy amount of drop, as you can see, they're way under the horizontal line. The difference with those pitches is the amount of lift they have on the way to the plate, which also usually correlates with the amount of speed they have. Cutters tend to be the fastest and have the most lift. Those are the brown. Sliders tend to be the next fastest and have the next most lift, or the next most drop, whichever way you want to look at it. That is the yellow dots, and then the curveballs have the most drop and the least lift, however you want to look about it, and they're also generally the slowest, and those are the blue dots. So that's a quick little detour on that.